Alrighty, so are you ready for take two?
102. We're
Okay.
talking office setups.
Welcome
Man,
back.
it's weird. Nope. See, you can't do it like that. Nope. You can't even do it like that. And that's the weird thing. Normally we just start talking, and at some point there's a show, and now we don't know what to do.
Yeah,
But
because
you
we already
can't
had a
start.
show.
But you can't start. You cannot start with welcome back to, because that is not how the show starts, ever. Not ever. So now the
Nope.
show is starting right now.
That's exactly how it's going to go too. See, JJ made the comment when he was on. He's like, "I don't know when we're starting. It's you guys start in the middle of the sound check." I'm like, "Yeah, that's just how it is because that's how our conversations go." Certain people won't name them. Get a little frustrated with me when I call them and I just start talking. I don't ask them, "How are you?" or any of that stuff, because honestly, that's usually how you and I do. Is I call you and we start talking and go from there. So that's the show.
Yeah.
So hello.
That reminds me, I should probably look for some type of assistant, virtual assistant,
Oh,
to handle calls or something. Yeah, I mean, so going off of that before we get into today's main topic is, so I called up my tech the other day, right? And I hadn't talked to him probably in like a couple of weeks. I called up my tech the other day because, machine was frozen up. I was like, I don't really know what you want me to do about this. Like, and can you come fix it? Because I'm assuming since it froze up that there's an actual problem with the compressor, because there's no reason this machine should be having this problem. So anyway, I'm calling him about the problem. And I was like, so man, I'm over here at the parole. Oh, hold on, wait. How you doing? Look, I'm doing good. How about you? I'm doing all right. So I'm at the parole office and I got blah, 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 right? Because it occurred to me in the middle of like, it's kind of rude. Didn't I think that might be rude? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lesson I've started to learn. It's funny because other people, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, if I'm calling you, I need answers to something most of the time, or we need to do something most of the time. It's not, I'm calling you just to see how you're doing. And so I struggle with that myself for sure.
Well, if you're not doing well, you're gonna probably reach out and let me know, or
Or
I'll
not
hear
answer.
about it some kind of way, or not answer or something. And like if you disappear for a week, like if I were trying to call you, because I don't think I can't remember I've ever asked you how you were doing. Like maybe when we first met or something.
Maybe.
But after a while, like I don't do that to anybody unless like I haven't talked to you in a while and I've been trying to get a hold of you. And it may not even be nothing important. It could be just random conversations like we have sometimes. And like if I was calling Mike and I call Mike and I call Mike and like I don't ever get a response. I don't get a text message response. I'm like, hey, Mike, are you okay, buddy? Everything all right?
Right.
After a while, I just call Mallory and be like, what the hell is going on with Mike? Like, I mean, if we ain't friends no more, it's cool. I just want to make sure he ain't die.
Yeah. Yeah. Want to make sure he's still around. Like, I think you'd be one of the people she would tell eventually. Maybe not right away, but I think eventually she'd reach out to you. I'd like to think so. Anyways, that's enough morbidness for this show. Thank you for tuning in to Technically Working.
You should drop in that. You should drop in that clip if you have it, where she was like, "So I'm going to such and such and such and such, and I move stuff around here, so don't die."
Oh, I got to figure out which episode that is, but I got the clip. Thank you, Reaper, being non-destructive in editing.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Reaper. So this is a pre-recorded episode. So if anything
I mean, all of our
catastrophic,
content's pre-recorded.
well, I mean, yeah, but like this is not topical. Like we're recording this a week before it's going to be released.
Yes.
So if anything catastrophic has happened in the world, we don't know about it yet because it ain't happened. So if you hear this episode and there's a thing and you're like, I can't believe I didn't mention that thing, we don't know about it yet because it's still
Yep.
Saturday, March 8th, 2025.
And this is coming out the 17th. So
yeah. And if you, well, I guess if you don't get this episode, you won't hear me say this. If something catastrophic enough happens that this episode just doesn't publish, then hey, thanks for being a listener. We appreciate it. See, Mike started this. All right. So, okay. All right. So, what we decided to talk about in this episode, among other things, is going to be our home office setups. I say home office because both of our offices are in some form or fashion a part of our home. And I just rearranged mine. So I wanted to tell Mike about it, and I figured I'd tell everybody else too, because it could be interesting and interested in thoughts, because it's still kind of a work in progress as well. So I'll start with my setup. So anybody who's been listening for a while knows that I do have what I think is meant to be like a utility room off of my garage, which is an office. It's being utilized as an office.
Mhm.
Uh, Prior to when did I actually move this around? I think it was last week actually, because it was the day we recorded 100, which is
Oh,
weird now that I think about it. But that's when I actually did it. Uh, so as of a week ago today, as we're recording this, is when I made this change. But prior to last Saturday, this had a desk in it, had a sit stand desk in it, it had an office chair, then the desk had things on it, but there was also boxes in here for overflow, product that wasn't opened yet, etc. It was kind of it wasn't a mess, but it was a lot more stuff in my office than I wanted to be in my office. So finally, one cleared enough product out, and also didn't go shopping for more product until I got a lot of stuff cleared out because I was getting backed up. Had enough space to move those boxes out. Actually, I basically just unpacked those boxes and stuffed them in machines because I was getting around and getting stuff done super quick. So it
hmm.
was fun. So I had it down to a level where there's only like a couple of things that are overflow, and I had them kind of stashed in here anyway because the dates on them were like July, etc. So it's like, okay, I can hold on to those, and if this company does happen to actually go out of business, I might be the last person around at least these parts that has a box of those chips, and then I will tax everybody. Uh, there will be tariffs put on those chips at that point. I'm sorry, it might be too soon. I'm sorry.
Is it
Uh,
though? Because has it actually happened? And
I don't know. I don't even know. Uh, but who knows? It may have happened seriously in between the time we recorded. So I'm sorry if that was too early. But anyway, so I got all that stuff out, and I was also rearranging some other stuff. And we have decided to take up another bonus room in the house for actual packing of containers to go load machines with because the weather's weird and it's cold, and I have not found a heater that works well enough to heat the garage.
Mm.
Uh, and it's okay if I freeze a little bit out here, but not if the help freezes. It's not cool. Be a kind boss to your people. Wow, that's all I'm saying. So at any rate, there was a rug that I wanted that Tia's mother had, and she did offer this rug to me previously when we moved in the other house that we had. It was just too big for the space that was originally supposed to be my office,
Mhm.
and so therefore I just didn't use it. So anyway, I went and got that rug, took everything out of here, swept it out, and did all of that stuff. And then I brought the rug in and unrolled it and put it out. And it fits mostly. There's a little bit of overlap that goes up one wall, but it's okay. Not too much, maybe like an inch or so. Lengthwise, it covers the entire space that I needed to cover and falls short of the hot water heater that's over in the corner across from me, which is
Mm.
great. Perfect fit, right? Almost. And because of reasons, one of which we got a new TV stand. So I took my old desk, which used to be an L-shaped desk, except the L part, the part that makes the capital L, is long gone. I ended up bringing that back out here into the office. So no more sit stand desk for me,
Yeah.
at least at the
Do you
moment.
miss it?
Not yet. I'm pretty sure I will at some point. But Tia also needed another desk because the desk that she was intending on using for her as a desk is kind of falling apart. And I was like, well, look, since we don't need my old desk as a TV stand, I can put that back in the office and give you this sit stand desk because then you can adjust height and do whatever. And whatever you're going to do with it, there you go. You got a sit stand desk. I probably will miss that at some point, and I do intend on buying another. I haven't decided if I want to go with the desktop mounted situation yet, or do I just want to buy a whole another entire desk.
Mm. Mm.
That's a decision for another time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll miss it because I did use that desk standing up while it was here, out here. So the other thing I did after putting the rug down and bringing the desk in is I actually have my desk. So prior to this, the desk that I was using, the sit stand desk, was facing the wall, so the back wall of this. So you come in the door and turn right, make an immediate right, and that wall that's all the way to the back because it's longer. It's a rectangular shaped room. So when you enter the office, directly across from you, slightly to the left, is where that water heater is that I mentioned. So my desk was up against the back wall on the other end.
Okay.
Well, when I put when I put this desk in here, and I've been wanting to do it with the sit stand desk. Just had to clear out the space. I now am facing the water heater instead of my back being to the water heater. So my back is to the back wall now. So I have to go around my desk to actually sit down instead of just walking in and sitting down at the desk, which is what I wanted because it's cooler. And I envision myself as like this, um, supreme executive working in his home office with a chair on the other side of the desk so I can have conversations with employees about their performance.
Do you have a chair on the other side of the desk?
Not yet, because I got to wipe
Okay.
it off and put it over
Got
here.
to get that.
Yeah. I mean, it's here. I just need to wipe it off
Yeah.
and then put it in here. So I haven't done that yet, but there's a chair available for that purpose. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do one day. Just have a conversation. It might be a stuffed animal sitting in the chair, but I'll do it. All right, we're going to discuss your performance lately, Snoopy, and see what's been happening. So having the rug on the floor, this interesting side effect of getting all the boxes out of here is it's now more reverby.
That's funny. Yeah, last what does time mean anymore? A few episodes ago, you mentioned reverb, and I'm like, oh, I don't hear it. And then I was recording or editing, and I'm like, oh, I hear it now.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. So that's gonna cause for some padding to need to go up on the walls because there's no longer, stacks of cardboard chip boxes soaking up all the sound. Didn't realize how sound dampening those were.
Now you do.
Yeah, well, they're not coming back in here though. I also don't have as much room here as I did because I have to have enough room to like scoot back away from the desk. So as a part of this redesign, is that right? Okay, redesign of the office is. So my back is to the wall, so I have enough room to scoot back. I am now back using the Rode boom arm that I have had for a while. I took out the replacement part that they sent me and added it to the, fixed the arm up and put it back on the desk. The primary reason is the arm that I was using, its C-clamp would not fit on this desk. So yeah, back to the Rode, which works.
Do you have the Rode set up so Rode is clearly advertised on camera? Because if not, you should probably switch that around so it is. I really do like this boom arm. So that's nice though. What do you wish you could change about your current setup right now?
I wish I could take this Rode off both sides of this boom arm because I am very much reminded how much I do like this arm. It is so silent when you move it. Like I've had to move it a couple of times since a couple of weeks ago. So episode 100 is when this was actually in effect. And I think I mentioned on that show that I was back using that boom arm. I'm not sure if it made the show, but I did mention it. But it's quiet when you move it. The other one was it was quieter, but it still was one of those metal with a lot of springs and crap. So depending on how I moved it, you could hear it move. This actually has better reach and stays in place a little better without me having to do so many knob adjustments like I did with the other one. So I do really like this arm.
And it stays in one place. Like you mentioned that, but like I can sit down at my desk and know where my microphone is almost all the time. And it's
unless
amazing.
you move it because you needed to do something. So like you stick it straight up in the air or something. And then you're like waving your arm around looking for like, where the hell
Where
is
it?
I know it's attached to the desk still because that ain't fall off, but geez, where did I put it?
Well, see, when I take my headphones off, my AKGs off, they hang on my microphone. So usually I know where my boom arm is because I've found my headphones to put them on.
See, I used to do that, but the way that I have my boom arm right now, like that would not work because one is coming across. So mine's kind of at an angle. It's more towards the right corner of the back of the desk, and it's coming across kind of at an angle. It's technically hanging over the laptop keyboard, but it's not interfering with the screen and it's not interfering with me typing. But I have it stretched out, basically. It's kind of stretched out. But yeah, love this boom arm. So let me finish kind of describing some of the other stuff I was able to do in here, and then I'll tell you what I wish I could change, amongst the obvious, which is figuring out where to put sound dampening padding at to kill this reverb that is driving me insane. So over here to my left, behind the desk in the corner is a little set of shelves, and I think it's like 3 or 4, nope, not shelves, drawers, one of those little, portable drawer things. There's like 4 drawers or whatever. I will figure out what I'm actually going to keep in here. I had these in the old office at the old house in my office as well, with a lot of random stuff in it. So, some random USB adapters and stuff like that, cables. On top of that, I have placed a piece of wood that came off of a little small fold-up table Tia used to have that broke. So I have the top of that sitting on top of this, so it looks like a wood table. And I have my coin sorting machine sitting up there. So when I was in here last week after we recorded, actually, not last week, 2 weeks ago, as of the time you're hearing this, so episode 100, when I was out here, when I first made the change that night after we finished recording, I was out here counting money.
Mhm.
So I had the coin sorter back here, dumping change in it and separating that out and giving me totals, which is cool. On the desk, because this is a fairly big desk, I think I measured this desk and I'm not going to remember the exact measurements, but I measured to make sure one, it would fit in here, and two, I measured the width of it to make sure it would fit through the door.
Kind of important.
Yeah, so
Hopefully you didn't have to take the door off.
Nope, did not have to take the door off. I wasn't doing that. But I would have ended up with no desk or something. I don't know what I would have did at that point. Like, okay, Mike, I'm using a tripod stand.
There you go.
And I'm just sitting in front of it. Like I'm doing a technically working unplugged or something. Okay. So this desk is about a little over 5 feet in length, even though I'm measuring the length from like left to right of me sitting behind it. That's what the length is to me. And it's about 2.5 feet, maybe a little bit more than 2.5 feet.
In depth.
Right?
Gotcha.
So one thing that is on this desk that I did not have a place to put it before, well, I took those cabinets off, of course, because I had to move the whole desk. But one thing that's on this desk now is my bill counter. So I'll use that night as well to count all the bills. It's cool. I did get Ira on the line to help me get it in the right mode and do a little testing with some of the other modes to make sure I understood what they did, but get it in the right mode for sorting. After that, because I basically know how this counter works, I was able to use it, and using Ira AI, just snap a picture of the screen and say, okay, tell me how many pieces were counted and what the total is on the screen.
Mhm.
Because it does display the amount in dollars, US dollars, that it has counted, but also the number of pieces that it has counted. So if it's counting $1 bills, obviously those two numbers should match. But if it's counting $5 bills, you may count, I don't know, 100 pieces. And,
Right.
what is 100 times 5? It's 500. So you want to make sure those numbers, that was kind of my double weight, my verification way of making sure that things added up correctly before I wrote those totals down and then took it to the bank and said, hey, I got $2,000. Are you sure? They're going to go count it anyway, but hey. So that's cool. I do have and I now have space to put an audio interface or something up here, but don't have one. On the immediate other side of my desk, up against the wall to my left, is a stack of drawers that I got from Tia. I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. There's random stuff in them, like because I'm using so I'm also back on the Beta 87A, mostly because I had to dismantle everything and I stuck the Earthworks microphone in a box, and I was like, well, I just pulled the Beta 87A out of my laptop bag and used it for last week, and I forgot about it, so it's still up here.
Trusty microphone that just works.
Hey, that's why I was in the laptop bag, though. See, if I have to record on the go somewhere because I'm on the road and I need to do a podcast, I can pull this out and know it's going to work. But there's random stuff in there. My AKGs are currently in a drawer over there, but that's also additional storage that can be used out here. Probably some tools will go in a couple of those drawers. And then on the right side of the desk, currently sitting on the floor, are the aforementioned cabinets. It's just a double cabinet that is sitting on the floor. My intent there is to buy a couple of wall brackets, put them up, put a piece of plywood on top of that and screw it down to that, and then set those cabinets up there, and that'll be more storage, because you can never have enough storage.
That is true.
Now, what I wish I could change about this office, this setup, one thing I immediately wish I could change, like right now, is I wish that there were a duct in the ceiling for air conditioning and heating. Because this is an add-on to the original house, this does not have that. And I'm not sure yet that the little attic space up above the house extends over this part. It'd be nice if it did, and then maybe I'll get up there with a saw and cut a hole. Well, I won't do it, but pay somebody else to do it.
You'll outsource that.
Yeah, I will absolutely outsource that. I ain't chopping no hole in my. I would drill a hole through something quick, but I ain't cutting the hole that's supposed to fit a grill for ductwork. Like, we're not doing that.
No.
But that is one thing I wish I could change immediately, because that would solve the heating and cooling problem for out here. I do still have my little small mini heater that is sitting on top of my desk. I haven't had to turn it on in a couple of days, but that's great. It was on all day Saturday when I first made the change. to warm up the office in preparation for having to record with Mike because I don't want the heater running while we're recording. It stayed warm enough in here with the door closed. So
Good.
it maintains its heat pretty well. I do wish I had enough sound dampening material to go up on every single wall in here in the ceiling. Like that would be awesome. I don't know
Mhm.
how that would affect my, desired ductwork. I guess cut a hole for the vent and the padding, but
Yeah, but that also might help with keeping the heat in a little bit longer too, with your current setup, because the pro to sound dampening is it's kind of thick, so it can work as temporary, not ideal insulation to insulate yourself. Well,
yeah.
your space.
What I think I'm gonna end up doing for that padding at least is I'm probably gonna take the mattress pad that I had at Gentry when I made
Mhm.
myself a king size bed and
Start chopping it up.
start cutting some squares out and,
Yeah.
and, and putting it up in places and hopefully killing some of this reverb because it really is driving me insane. Like it's awful, man. It's really awful. I thought the rug would be helpful, but it's like no. I think the boxes were doing more work than I thought they were. No, no. I have the other thing that I will end up doing out here, somewhere somehow. There's a window here, in the office too. It's like to my immediate left.
Mhm.
Um, but one thing I'm gonna have to do is run some Ethernet out here. That problem will be resolved as soon as my switches come in. I'm gonna put a switch up in the attic and then probably have to run a cable if it doesn't extend over the office. If the attic space doesn't extend over the office, then I have to run it down from inside the garage and through that window. Uh, if it does extend over, I'll just punch a little hole through the ceiling right here over the wall and drop an Ethernet cord down and plug it into another switch. And then I have a nice little Ethernet hub in here to Ethernet my computer and whatever else I
Yeah.
need to, probably my printer when I put the printer out here. I do wish that now that I have it situated this way, and obviously I could change it, but I don't think I will. I do need a table out here, like an actual smaller table to go out here. Because I do want to put my laser printer out here because I'm the
Mhm.
only one that uses it. Because the business bought that, I didn't buy it. Actually, it's not my printer. It belongs to Spirals. Sorry, Mr. RS, man. That's not what I meant to say. The business has a printer that needs to go out here because the business is the only one that uses that printer.
Where's your scanner?
My scanner is currently in the house over on the network rack with the
Okay.
printer.
Okay.
That will probably end up coming out here too, just because I'm primarily the user of that scanner.
Yeah.
That's small enough that it can actually sit on the desk, which is probably where I'll put it. But all in all, I think it's a reasonable space. I have a door so I can close it. I can keep the climate somewhat controlled in here, which is going to be a problem I have to solve for in the garage. But because can't let soldiers get too hot, then they lose all their fizziness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
got to resolve that problem at some point.
So that's interesting. That you're in your own space. I have my setup out here in the garage where I have a lot of it hasn't changed. So I have a 2-tiered sit stand desk that I don't use a lot, and you'll see why here in a minute. And the laptop sits on the back tier of it, which is slightly higher than the primary surface of the desk. And then on the bottom tier, so directly in front of me, is the Logitech MX keys. To the left of the Logitech MX keys is this mixer. It's Mackie 1204, I think, 1204FX, if I recall right. I don't remember the model of it. And then behind the Logitech keyboard is the Vocaster 2 that Damashe sent me with the most recent package he sent. On the left side of the MacBook is a OWC dock Mallory bought me for a couple of Christmases ago. And plugged into that is a USB A to C cable, which goes into the Vocaster. And then this dock has, I don't know, that's probably a 6-inch cable, if even that long, that goes to USB-C that plugs into the left side of the MacBook Pro. And then on the right,
Hold on, quick pause right quick. Isn't it so nice to have a laptop that has USB-C ports on both sides?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, it is so nice. Instead of having to have everything on one
Everything
side.
on the left side, man. I
Yeah.
had to plug some stuff into this MacBook Air earlier today because I was doing a final backup of all of my files onto a hard drive,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, this is weird. I gotta freaking plug this in on there because I have an OWC dock, the Thunderbolt 4 dock on my
Uh-huh.
desk, and the way I have it sitting is I have it so that the cable will come out of it and come around and plug into the right side of the MacBook Pro. So therefore, the dock is on my left, like to the left back edge of the computer, so I can reach over and plug stuff in there. Like I have the the H4 plugged in there, to have a camera plugged in there, yada yada. And when I had to plug it into the air. It's
You
like,
have to
oh,
move.
I gotta bring the cable around in some kind of weird way and plug it into the left side. Okay, it's like I don't. Yeah.
Well, what I have coming out of the right side is a USB-C to C cable, which is going into the charge, and then that's plugged into power. So when I come out to record, because I'll explain my other
Hold on.
office.
Hold on one sec. So, yeah, and there may be reasons for this that make sense, but I just want to make sure that you're aware that that hub that you have, that's the one that has like the Ethernet and the two A ports.
No, this one
Okay.
does not have Ethernet. This one just has a USB-C, which is power pass through, and then it has
So you know that USB-C port is power pass through.
Yep. And then it has two USB-A ports,
and
HDMI, and then
HDMI that
SD.
nobody needs, and an SD. Okay.
Yep. And yes, I am aware that it has USB-C pass through. I don't know why I've set it up this way. It's just how things landed. Mainly
Probably
because I
because you
don't
were testing the shards.
probably, and I don't really plug anything else into this computer, really. If I need to plug something in, I'll plug it into that other USB-A port. Or, hey, look, I have another USB-C port on the left side of this computer, so I could plug it
Isn't
into
that amazing?
that. And if worse comes to worse, I'll find my MagSafe cable and just plug that in, and then I have another USB-C port open. Thank you, Apple. Anyway, so I have it plugged in.
Here's a tip. And the reason I asked about it, I want to make sure you knew that because that's one cable to plug in and unplug for power. Because you probably do the same thing I do, which is I don't care if it's powered up because the power management is great. When it hits 100%, it just stops charging, which is nice. But find your MagSafe and throw it in whatever bag you always take when you travel.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it is in a bag. I'm going to check for tomorrow, but 2 weeks ago, to verify if it's actually in the bag.
And the reason for that is just in case you're ever on the road. That might be the time that you need it because you have to plug stuff in that you didn't anticipate having to plug in. And you might need that power. That's what I did with my cable when I opened this laptop. Is I immediately threw it in my laptop bag. Like, nope, never going to use that in the house because there's USB-C everywhere.
Yes, and in my work laptop charges the USB-C too, which is pretty awesome. That is amazing.
So this Windows laptop I have, it has the traditional barrel port and adapter, but it also charges over USB-C, which I thought was cool because I have no idea what I did with that power adapter. Probably in one of these drawers out here.
Probably in the bottom at the back of one of those drawers.
Yep.
So since I have the power on the right side and the dock on the left side, when Damashe and I are done recording, 95% of the time, I will get up and I will go into the house and see who's up and what's going on in the house. And then I'll come back outside. And by the time I've done that, the Zoom recording has converted. So then I just pop out the left cord, pop out the right cord, grab the laptop and go into the living room. And the laptop primarily lives in the living room with me. And I just plug in headphones to it. And if I need to record, I've been doing a lot of recording from the DJI wireless to go mic set. And people have said, you sound really good on that. And I don't think it sounds, it sounds good, but it's not as clean as the Beta 87A. It is obviously a different mic style, but I've been using that to do a lot of Zoom meetings or other recordings. So my main office is the living room couch with my computer and a pair of headphones. And then when I need to do recordings, I'll come out to the garage. I'll plug the left cable in, plug the right cable in, turn off the Vocaster, wait about 10 seconds and turn it back on. And then all my audio goes where it needs to go. And then I'm able to record and then edit things. So that's primarily my office setup.
So there's a couple of interesting things you said right there, but the last thing you said, which is fascinating to me because it never used to be this way, and I don't know when it actually started. But I've noticed, like when we get done recording now, I'm going to properly eject this hard drive that's plugged into this dock so that it doesn't, give me all that weird crap. And then I'm going to unplug this one cable, right? Which is cool. And depending on whether or not I do something really stupid at some point this year, I might send you this dock. If I buy the Thunderbolt 5 one, but I don't think I'm going to buy it. Man, I send Mike a lot of nice stuff.
I know. I can't wait till you get your package, which you will have by the time this goes live.
Oh, yeah, I would have had it and done the event with the doodle by the time this one goes live.
Yes.
But I unplugged this one. Typically, my when I'm out here working in the office, I will have that one cable plugged in, and then when I'm done, I will unplug that cable and close my laptop and walk out with it, or usually I throw it in my laptop bag,
Mhm.
and then take that whole bag in the house. Because if I'm doing something in the house and I need, say, headphones or something like that, it's always going to be in that bag. But what I've noticed, and I don't know when this started, but it's super cool. I will, turn off the H4, which I'm
Mm.
using right now. Take it out of USB mode and all of that, and power it off. The Mac goes back to using the speakers, right? Like, because that's what the
Yep.
audio input should be. Okay. I haven't gone in and changed anything. It just goes back to the speakers. That's normal. When I come out here and I plug everything back up and I put the H4 back into USB mode, as soon as it's connected, the audio automatically switches back to it.
Oh.
So it's sort of like your whole turn off, turn back on the
Yeah.
vocaster, and it goes back to
Yeah.
using that as and that didn't always work on the Mac.
Nope.
It would oftentimes change your audio when you plugged in a device or unplugged a device to undesired locations, like I don't know, some
Yes.
random virtual device that had no output. Like, man, this has been working this
And it's
way for
smooth.
a while, and it's super
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah, I don't even think about it anymore. I mean, I set the laptop down, I turn off the vocast, turn it back on, and I expect the audio will be in my headphones in about 3 seconds.
But that is unusual for people who either are not Mac users at all or have not been Mac users for very long. That is unusual, because you would unplug your audio interface and not think about, so the proper process to disconnect an audio output device, unless it was just plugging into the headphone jack, would be go to your output settings and change. That's why Sound Source was so valuable, because you would go quickly change your output back to the speakers before you disconnected your audio interface. Because otherwise you had no idea where in the hell your audio was about to go.
And it was always guess and check. And turning voiceover off and back on would never bring the audio back. You might hear, I remember hearing sounds, the voiceover sounds, but
no voiceover,
no speech.
Yep. Like, where's the speech at?
That's when we had to remember what the keyboard commands were to go into the voiceover utility and then switch to the sound. And then
how many times the tab?
Yep.
Oh man, those were the days, huh?
Thank you,
No
Apple,
more of that.
Fixing something.
For fixing something. Thank
knock
you.
on wood.
Exactly.
Hold on. Got to knock on some wood, because they might, since they have fixed it, it's very possible they might break it in the near future.
Yeah, but I know, and I've just made note of it today when I plugged in, because I was like, it should do this thing because that's what it's been doing. And hey, it did the thing, and I was like, cool. Like that they fixed that. That's interesting. I have been, and this is honest, and I'm glad. I didn't really make a decision, really. I mean, I asked for a laptop from VR, but the reason I asked for a laptop was exactly what you just said. I don't work out here all the time, especially when it's cold. Like, I'm not out here unless I have to be out. Like, I come out here to record, and that's about it in the winter months. I'm in the house. I'm either at the kitchen table or sitting in a recliner, or in a very, very bad posture-wise position on the bed with the laptop. Just saying, don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, don't. We have reclining couches, and working from a recliner it's pretty nice, because you know what? My laptop will let me work all day long and not die.
Oh man, that's the other thing. I don't even think about the freaking battery. Like, I'm shocked when it's like, I'm about to do, you need to plug up your Mac soon. I'm like, when was the last time I charged you? Like, I don't know. I think I used you all week and didn't have to charge you up. Like, what's going on? I'm not putting in 8 hours a day on it, mostly, but still, like, getting a whole week through a laptop like that's unheard of. And Apple Silicon continues to impress me, and at the same time fade into the background and not be, a thing that I'm constantly thinking about. It's just, it's where we are with the Mac now. And but it allows that office to really be mobile. Like, I have my laptop bag, and the reason I always throw my laptop in my laptop bag is because I grabbed the laptop bag one day because I was headed down to the University of Alabama, which is about an hour and 15-minute ride from here, depending on who's driving and traffic. And I take the laptop bag and I throw it on the van, and I'm sitting down, and okay, we're actually on the highway. I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump in here and do some stuff on the computer. There's no computer in the laptop bag, man. This is before I got the MacBook Pro. This is when I still had there. There's no computer in the bag. Why? Because I left it on my nightstand, because that's the last place I was using it.
But now with your Pro, well, you can feel it in the bag. Whereas the Air, I can easily see how that would happen because that thing is so light. Yeah. So earlier today, I threw my Pro in my backpack and Mallory's Air in my backpack, and I picked her Air up. I'm like, man, this thing's so light. I'm gonna probably break it or something.
Yeah, when I have to pick this one up now to move it, it's like, oh man, this really is. I still say that the M2 Air is probably my favorite computer that I've ever owned.
Yeah.
Partially because it is the first brand new MacBook that I paid for out of my own pocket. Granted, I did use a firm to make those payments, but I did pay for it out of my own pocket. But it's a really nice design computer. But I'm loving my M3 Max. Also, I don't even think about. I wish it was an M4 anymore.
Right.
Too often, except right now when I say what it is, and I'm like, oh, but it would have been nice if it would have been M4. But the 14-inch, I know you have the 16-inch, but the 14-inch is barely a smidge bigger in like the diameter, like around the edges, than the M2 Air is. Yeah. So,
but it's heavier though, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely heavier. Yeah. It's noticeably heavier. But having a laptop does make your office kind of almost be anywhere. I have been using the open comms to do a couple of Zoom meetings on the move and some team talk stuff for our weekly with AT guys sometimes. I think I actually managed to do 1 week where nobody knew I was on anything weird. Like nobody realized I was actually still in the van on the laptop with the open comm tools.
Right.
Other than I mentioned I was using the open comm tools. And that was it. And I was tethering.
That tethering, man, that just works now. Kids, that has not always been the case. But like today, I was at an event and I just opened my Mac. I chose my phone from the Wi-Fi network and I was up and running a Zoom session. And I'm like, this is nice. This is what it should have been years ago.
Yeah, now because they have the 16E out with their first shot at their own modem. I'm waiting. And I give it maybe 26, 27.
Yeah.
So maybe M6, M7.
But I have to get a new computer, Damashe.
Gonna have to buy a new computer.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
buy 2 new computers, honestly, because that's what Mallory wanted in her MacBook Air is the cellular. Yep. Yeah, I remember her comment. It was, "Why can't you use cellular on this?" And I'm like, "Well, because you haven't talked to the right people at Apple yet."
Yeah, but that's what I'm waiting for is cellular and the Macs, and I will. At that point, I think I will happily buy a new Mac because it will make the process of connectivity or take the process of connectivity like completely out of the picture. No more killing my phone battery to tether my phone. So I was like, oh, let me pull out my power bank that I got from AT guys and plug in my phone so that it doesn't die while it's being a hotspot for my laptop that is never going to die. Like, can I charge the phone up off the laptop while it's a hotspot? Let's try that. I did do that once. It worked.
That's handy.
I mean,
one of these days.
And your battery is, monstrous. So yeah, you should definitely just plug your phone up to the computer and charge while you're tethering. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And with so I'm in an interesting phone situation with the phone company that I'm using. So everything I now have is now on US Mobile, not US Cellular. I hear you people out there in Mike's area of the country. No, I don't even think we have that over here on this side of the country. US Mobile. So I think I know I talked to you about this. I don't know if we ever talked about it on the show, but US Cellular, now I did it.
US Mobile.
US Mobile. Very nice phone plans. They have the ability to pick. They have, of course, your unlimited talk, text, and data. They have 2 different unlimited plans with, data caps because unlimited really isn't unlimited. It's unlimited with a speed degradation once you pass a certain point, is what everybody is doing now.
Yep.
I wonder what would have happened if I would have managed to stay on the Verizon unlimited plan I had back in 2009. Like if I never would have canceled that service and like been able to keep that actual plan and just kept paying for it, what they would have done in 2025. Like would I still have that true?
Probably not.
Nope. You know what? Nope. Because I know somebody that had one like that and they cut them off when it got to 5G. You could keep your plan like it was, but you wouldn't get 5G.
Right.
Which I'm not sure how much of a loss that is. Just saying. Speed test stuff is great. Using it is like I'm just got on the same old freaking cellular. But US Mobile for me has become my primary carrier. Moved the household, moved my personal line and Tia's phone over to it as well. But prior to this, they were a good phone company for me, much like Tello and some of the other MVNOs, because I could get fairly cheap service for a second line. So for the longest time, that's where Bedrock's line was at, and I just had talking text, unlimited talking text, so I had no data because I was running the same number on the same iPhone. Uh, there's two things I always wanted them to do. I actually chatted with the CEO, briefly about this. I was like, there's two things you do that'll get me to move my family over. Well, one thing you do to get me move my family over to US Mobile, which is add Apple Watch support because they didn't have Apple Watch cellular support. The thing I would really like you to do as a customer that would help me out greatly as somebody who dual sims his phones now is get AT&T, please, because T-Mobile kind of sucks in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But if I have Verizon on one line and AT&T on the other line, well, then I can just switch cellular networks and make sure I'm always covered.
You get the best of both worlds, and now you have that.
Yeah, and I have that, man, and it is awesome. But they recently introduced a new thing that saved me some money. It saved me, well, actually saved me $8 a month. So Spirals, the vending business, is paying for its own cell phone service as an independent line, and I got unlimited premium or whatever it is, $44 a month for unlimited talk text, and I think it's 100 gigs of data before they start to decrease your speeds and some other stuff. But one of the reasons I went for that instead of the $25 a month plan is because it also gave me free network switching. So if I wanted to switch networks from AT&T to Verizon or whatever, I didn't have to pay a cost to do that over the course of the month, and it's a pretty seamless process. Well, they recently introduced, I don't remember what they called it, and I'm not going to go look for it because I probably won't be able to find it. But essentially, basically, because I'm paying for premium, I can partner a second line as long as it's on the same phone. So like my personal line and my Spirals line are all on the same phone, right? So because Spirals line is unlimited premium, I now get unlimited data on the second line for free. So I'm no longer paying for that phone, my personal phone line. It just rides along with unlimited talk, text, and data, and I still have two separate networks.
So you're paying $44 roughly a month for two lines.
Yep.
Huh.
The caveat being that both of those lines have to be operating on the same phone. Yep. Yeah. That's the only caveat there. But I was already doing that anyway and just paying a separate, out of my personal account for my personal, phone line. So super win for me. And
that's pretty cool. Okay.
So, nice deal there. They do have a range of plans. You can even build your own plan with minutes and text and data, whatever you need. But one reason I'm really looking forward to going back around to where we started at with these cell modems going into MacBooks is figure I'll be able to get a pretty decent data plan for my phone from a MacBook Pro in a couple of years. Looking forward to it.
It'll be worth it.
It'll definitely be worth it. It'll definitely be worth it. And hey, we'll be on 6G. So
all right, so I don't like the way that sounds. Barely get any benefit out of 5G.
Right, like can we get that working first before we go to the next thing?
Give us more consistency, but well, it has been fun. We have been recording for 2 hours roughly. I'm sorry. All of this is two separate shows. You don't know that we recorded for 2 hours unless you listen to last week's show and this week's show. Hopefully,
well, if you listen to last week's show, you already know that this show was recorded at the same time.
Well, I mean, if you listen to the beginning of the show, I think we said that too.
Because Mike said what we were doing in last week's show in 101. So thanks for listening to 102, though. This has been fun, and
make sure to subscribe a friend to the show for us.
There you go. We appreciate that. Thanks to our tip jar subscribers who did receive this episode a little bit early. Not too early so that you forgot that it was out and then were looking for a show and didn't get one because you already listened to it, but you got a little early. Thank you. And as I said last time, I know how much eggs cost, man. So appreciate you. We ain't even talking about that.
With Chat GPT about the cost of eggs today.
How does that happen?
Like you could make this meal for $3 at 50 cents an egg. I'm like, have you seen the price of eggs, Chat GPT? It said, oh, you're right. I should have known that the price of eggs has substantially increased because of this. And this is the new price of your meal. But I'm like, have you seen the price of eggs? When you said that last time, it made me think about it. So I'm going to keep for this show.
Yeah, look, I asked Tia last night about making some, and this is last night at the top of recording, people.
Yeah.
I asked Tia last night about making some homemade macaroni and cheese. Because I was like, I want to buy some fried chicken, macaroni and cheese. And before she said it, I said, hold on, wait, hold on, no, you need eggs for the macaroni and cheese. Never mind, I'm good.
Yeah.
We'll find
So tip,
something else.
so tip jar subscribers. Thank you.
Thank
We
you
do
very
truly
much.
appreciate you.
Yeah, we really do. To everybody else who listens, as I always say, we appreciate every single one of our listeners. So thank you. And like Mike said, subscribe a friend to the show or tell a friend about the show. Post on Mastodon. Repost Mike's post when he posts about the show on Mastodon because he does it more than I do.
Not every episode, but I do. I do it more than you do.
I'm going to set up an IFTTT action.
Ooh,
just post, just follow the RSS feed, and whenever there's a new feed, it'll just post. Hey, it's out.
There you go.
Actually, I'm going to make a bot account on the Technically Social Mastodon.
It's going to be called A New Show Episode is Posted at technically.social.
No. It'll probably just be TW at technically.social. So I'll let you know in this next episode, which we're not going to record tonight. If that account exists and where you can go follow that. But by the time we get around to that, that's 2 weeks from now. I will have done that because that actually seems like a reasonable thing to do. And I can mark that as a bot account so people will know that it's just an automated poster. So yeah, I will do that because I have enough users on the server that I can do that. But yeah, we'll make that happen. Thanks everybody for listening. You can follow us. Hold on, wait. You can email us first because we'll tell people about the email address because otherwise I'll forget. It's feedback@technicallyworking.show.
I almost said .social and then I realized that's not right. So feedback@technicallyworking.show.
Yeah, so I thought about doing that, but then I didn't because
that could be the bot. Feedback@technically.social.
Yeah, that'll be the account. Good deal. Wait, but what do they send in feedback to? Okay,
right.
whatever.
I thought about that after I said it because that doesn't quite make sense, but we'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out and we'll tell you what it is in 103. Because this has been episode 102 of Technically Working. He's on Mastodon at Payon, PAYOWN, at dragonscave.space. That is DRAGONSCAVE.space. I'm Damashe, DAMASHE, at technically.social. Hashtag Technically Working. Capitalize the T and the W, please. And thank you.